This is Tony and Susan Alamo, coming to you from the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you for tuning this way, and would you please stay with us for the next half hour while we share together the things of the Lord and give Him the thanks and the glory for our lives and for all the wonderful blessings that He has given to us. And Tony is going to sing for us another old gospel song. We prefer the old standards, the old gospel songs. And the name of this song is Consideration. And Tony, would you sing real good this time?
Oh, all right.
This is Tony Alamo and D Sumner and the Stamps Quartet. And this is a brand new one on a brand new album. And the name of this song is Consideration.
I run, only the Lord, whom I can turn, Lord, in your blessed consideration, consider me, oh Lord, consider me, tide rolling high, billows defy, Lord, hear my plea, Lord, hear my plea. Don't pass me by. Don't pass me by. Lord, when you smile on creation, consider me. Oh, Lord, consider me. Mad winds may blow. Mad winds may blow. Mad breakers roar. Mad breakers roar. They beat on every side. Oh, one thing I know, and to be sure, in Thee my soul can hide. When I'm alone, without a home, friends and my loved ones, all are gone. Lord, when you give out heaven's reservation, consider me. Oh Lord, consider me. Lightning may flash, wild waves may dash, the tempest raging high, sent from above, whispers of love, attend my feeble cry. The day will come, life will be done, Lord, in your presence, let me be one, Lord, when you give out heaven's reservation, consider me. Oh Lord, consider me.
That's Tony Alamo, D Sumner, and the Stamps Quartet on Consideration. And that song is in a brand new gospel album, just been completed. And if you would like this gospel album, if you would send $5 to Post Office Box 398. Send to Tony and Susan Alamo. That's Tony and Susan Alamo. Post Office Box 398, Alma, Arkansas. And here are some of the other selections that's on this new album. Tony sings this song to me. I love you so much, it hurts me. Consideration, that you just heard. Jesus, is the only way. In the city where the Lamb is the light, the great speckled bird. How long has it been? If God is dead, He brought me out, just over in the glory land. Put your hand in the hand. I'll never be lonely again. How long has it been? So if you want this new gospel album, send $5, check, money order, cash, to Tony and Susan Alamo, Post Office Box 398, Alma, Arkansas. The Lord bless you, and it's good to be with you again. You know, it's good to me to be alive. And I give all the thanks and all the glory to God through His Son, Jesus Christ, my Lord. I know that all of you who follow us, you realize the terrible ordeal that I've gone through this past year. Our attorney is telling Tony today, he said, you know, there are some people that are watching you in California, and they say that by looking at you that they don't believe there's anything wrong with you, or that there ever has been anything wrong with you. I said, well, if people really, if they're sincere and they really believe that, very, very easy to find out if what I say is true. All they would have to do would be contact Sparks Regional Hospital, Fort Smith, Arkansas, for cancer surgeons there, and I'm sure they'll all tell you exactly the same thing. I give my testimony not as looking for any sympathy, because I don't need any sympathy. I have God. And if I have God and He is with me, who can be against me? I give my testimony that it will give others faith, because there are so many people that are ill today, so many people that need help. I know by the mail that I get, so many people have said to me, since I heard you give your testimony, it's given me such faith in God to believe that there is help in God, and that God is still a God of miracles. I've never claimed to be healed. I am not healed. And I think that's the astounding part about my case. I know that many people have been healed. Jesus touched the blind eyes and they opened. He touched the lame and they walked. He touched the lepers and they were cleansed. And my God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not change. Or do I believe that when Jesus ascended into the heavens, the disciples and the apostles had finished their ministry, that God fell asleep for 2,000 years? I think that He is just as alive and just as active in this hour that you and I are living in as when He was on this earth, when He was touching people with His own hands, because He is still the Christ, the Son of the living God. And He can still touch you today, just as He did when He was here before. There are too many people's testimonies to verify this. Now, one or two persons could be imagining things, or half dozen or a dozen or a couple of dozen, even a couple of hundred. But when something goes on for 2,000 years, and people by the thousands are still witnessing the same testimonies as they were during the time that Jesus Christ was here, then there has to be something to it. Not that many people over that long a period of time could be deceived or be wrong. And I know that Jesus is a healer. And like I've had people say to me, I don't understand, they said, why the Lord doesn't heal you. Well, I don't think we're supposed to understand all the things that God does. I never have ever questioned God. I have never questioned Him, or either have I ever sinned against Him in my heart or with my mouth. There was never a time during the darkest hours of my illness that I ever doubted God or that I ever questioned Him in any way. I knew one thing, and I knew when I went to surgery, I knew that I was going to live. And I told everyone that. I said, I can tell you exactly what they're going to find. They're going to find that every part of my body is completely eaten up with cancer. And still I was standing on my feet and working every day, because we had all these young people, all married. Now I call them young people. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am because it isn't really any of your business. But some of them are 30, 35. They're not kids. They're men and they're women, and they have families of their own. And they need homes, and they need places to live and to keep their children in school. And we had a great responsibility, and I stayed right on my feet until the night that I collapsed, went to the hospital. And I knew that I was going to live. And I said, because Jesus died, I can live. And I know that I astounded the doctors. They said they had never seen anyone in such condition as that to diagnose their own case and yet say, I'm going to live. I'm not healed. I'm in the same condition I was when I went into the hospital. The only thing that I could not understand during the whole thing, I said, Lord, why do I have to prove it to people? I know it. I've lived with this thing for 7.5 years. I never failed you. Now, why do I have to prove it to other people? Well, I had to go on into surgery as a testimony to the power of God. Now, like people in the time of Jesus Christ, a man that was lame, and some of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they said, this man is lame. He has this terrible illness because he has sinned, and his mother and his father have sinned. Jesus said, no, this man hasn't sinned. He said he hasn't sinned at all. He said this thing has come upon him to prove the power of God is a testimony to God. And I don't know of any other case that a person has gone in with 4 qualified surgeons, and each one of them say that there isn't a chance for them to live and to get up and continue. They didn't even try to do anything to me. They said it would be an impossibility. It would have been like sowing cancer to cancer. So they sent me over to die. But because Jesus died, I can live. I know that a lot of people, they don't like to hear stories like that because everyone wants to know something pleasant. Just like in the Bible, where the man was so distraught, he said, don't bring that prophet to me. He said, all he does is talk about doom. He said, prophesy sweet things to me. The king said, prophesy sweet things unto me. And that's the way people are. But you know, life is a reality. We're not going to escape life, and we're not going to escape the realities of life. We're not going to escape cold, hard facts. Because every person, doesn't make any difference who you are or what you are. We're all made from the same clay, born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And we all came into this world the same way, and we're all going out the same way. And it doesn't make any difference whether we want to face it or accept it. The day is going to come that every person is going to stand right where I did. But I had that profound faith in God, that He was going to take me through that, and that I was going to live, and that I was going to see the coming of Jesus Christ. I firmly believe that's how close we are to the coming of the Lord. So I got up, went about my Father's business. People say to me, I don't understand why the Lord doesn't heal you. I said, well, pardon me, you spend your time worrying about that, and I'll spend my time in doing something constructive for God. As long as the Lord keeps me living, and as long as people are watching this broadcast and are saying, it's hard for me to believe that there is anything even wrong with that woman. It's just almost impossible for me to believe that. I was sitting in our restaurant one evening, and one of the doctors came in. One of my attending surgeons came in. I came flying out through the back, and he looked at me. He says, I can't believe it myself. He said, every time I look at her, it just frightens me because it's like I'm looking at Lazarus. And he said, it's just a terrifying thing. It's hard to believe. But I say again that God is a God of miracles. Doesn't make any difference. People don't have to be in healing lines. That's all right. If that's where you want to be, and if that's where your faith is directed, then by all means do that. Whatever, the contact in any way that you can reach God, then reach out to Him through Jesus Christ our Lord. And God will heal you. Thy faith has made thee whole. I don't have any healing ministry. I have a hellfire and brimstone ministry. I have no healing ministry. But I believe that Jesus Christ is a healer. I believe that He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I believe that thousands upon thousands of people have been touched by the power of the living God and raised up. And I'm one of those people.